Hello and welcome to Books of Blood. My name is John, and today I am going to be continuing the tour of horror across America, and we're going to be stopping right here in the Golden State of California. Alright, so I think I've got 9 books here. 2 of them are by the same author, Brian Bowyer, but I've got, after that I got 7 others. They're just by 7 completely different authors. If you hear anything in the background, any talking or anything, my sister-in-law is watching a Christmas movie, and my wife is taking a shower. If you might hear the shower running or something like that. I don't think you can, but just, I just want to let you guys know what the background noise is. So yeah, it's not like the Ghost of Christmas Past or anything. It's just James Brolin on TV or something like that. By the way, if you don't know who James Brolin is, let's just put it this way. He's the father of Thanos. He's the father of Josh Brolin, who played Thanos in the Avengers movies. Anyway, enough of that ridiculous trivia. Let's go ahead and get underway. Alright, so first up we have got They Thirst, and this is by Robert McCammon. The Kronstein Castle, a Gothic monstrosity, looms over Los Angeles, built during Hollywood's golden age for a long-dead screen idol with a taste for the macabre. It stands as a decaying reminder of the past. Since the owner's murder, no living thing has ever again taken up residence, but it isn't abandoned. Prince Conrad Vulcan, Hungarian master of the vampires, as old as the centuries, calls it home. His plan is to replace all humankind with his kind, and he's starting with the psychotic dregs of society and the city of angels. The number of victims is growing night after night, and so is Vulcan's Legion of the Dead. As a glittering city bleeds into a necropolis, a band of vampire hunters takes action. An avenging young boy who saw his parents devoured, a television star whose lover has an affinity for the supernatural, a dying priest chosen by God to defend the world, a female reporter investigating a rash of cemetery desecrations, an LAPD homicide detective, Andy Paladison, an immigrant who survived a vampire attack in his native Hungary when he was a child and has been hunting evil across the globe for decades. Paladison knows that to stop the Prince of Darkness, one must invade his nest. He knows it's also a suicide mission, but it's the only way to save the city and the world from vampire domination. And that is They Thirst by Robert R. McCammon. Alrighty, next up we've got Our Lady of Darkness by Fritz Leiber. Middle-aged San Francisco horror writer Franz Weston is rediscovering ordinary life following a long alcoholic binge. Then one day, peering at his apartment window from atop a nearby hill, he sees a pale brown thing lean out his window and wave. This encounter sends Weston on a quest through ancient books and modern streets for the dark forces and paramental entities that thrive amidst the towering skyscrapers of modern urban life. And meanwhile, the entities are also looking for him. A pioneering work of modern urban fantasy, Our Lady of Darkness is perhaps Fritz Leiber's greatest novel. That is Our Lady of Darkness by Fritz Leiber. Alright, next up from Clive Barker, we've got Cold Heart Canyon. Film's most popular action hero needs a place to heal after his surgery has gone terribly wrong. His fiercely loyal agent finds him just such a place in a luxurious, forgotten mansion high in the Hollywood Hills. But the original owner of the mansion was a beautiful woman devoted to pleasure at any cost, and the terrible legacy of her deeds has not yet died. There are ghosts and monsters haunting Cold Heart Canyon, where nothing is forbidden. That is Cold Heart Canyon by Clive Barker. Okay, next up. Now this one was formerly known as Tread Softly by Richard Kelly. It is under, I've got it here under its new name, and it's by Richard Lehman, and this is Dark Mountain. And very short synopsis here, okay? 2 families have come to the California mountains expecting a fun weekend camping trip. What they will find instead is terror in the form of a violent psychopath and his mother, a powerful witch. And that is Dark Mountain by Richard Lehman. Alright, next up we have got The Howling, some good old werewolf action here by Gary Brandner. Karen and her husband Roy had come to the peaceful California village of Drago to escape the savagery of the city. On the surface, Drago appeared to be like most small rural towns, but it was not. The village had a most unsavory history, unexplained disappearances, sudden deaths, people just vanished, never to be found. And that was The Howling. And if you've seen The Howling and if you've not read the book, I urge you read the book because they are two totally different things. The only thing that connects them is werewolves. Alright? Other than that, totally different. Okay? Alright, we've got a classic here. We've got Psycho by Robert Bloch. The story was all too real. Indeed, this classic was inspired by the real-life story of Ed Gein, a psychotic murderer who led a dual life. Alfred Hitchcock, too, was captivated and turned the book into one of the most beloved classic films of all time the year after it was released. Norman Bates loves his mother. She has been dead for the past 20 years, or so people think. Norman knows better, though. He has lived with Mother ever since leaving the hospital in the old house up on the hill above the Bates Motel. One night, Norman spies on a beautiful woman that checks into the hotel as she undresses. Norman can't help but spy on her. Mother is there, though. She is there to protect Norman from his filthy thoughts. She is there to protect him with her butcher knife. And that is Psycho by Robert Bloch. Alright, next up we have got The Hunger, and this is by Alma Katsu. Evil is invisible, and it is everywhere. That is the only way to explain the series of misfortunes that have plagued the wagon train known as the Donner Party. Depleted rations, bitter quarrels, and the mysterious death of a little boy have driven the isolated travelers to the brink of madness. Though they dream of what awaits them in the West, long-buried secrets begin to emerge, and dissent among them escalates to the point of murder and chaos. They cannot seem to escape tragedy or the feelings that someone or something is stalking them. Whether it's a curse from the beautiful Tamsin Donner, who some think might be a witch, their ill-advised choice of route through uncharted terrain, or just plain bad luck, the 90 men, women, and children of the Donner Party are heading into one of the deadliest and most disastrous Western adventures in American history. As members of the group begin to disappear, the survivors start to wonder if there really is something disturbing and hungry waiting for them in the mountains, and whether the evil that is unfolded around them may have in fact been growing within them all along. And that is The Hunger, and that is by Alma Katsu. Alright, next up I've got two here from Brian Bowyer, and the first one is called Flesh Rehearsal, and I love that cover, okay? Alright. Following years of abuse, Gretchen runs away from home after her sister dies by suicide. While on the road, she accepts a ride from Jacob and Amelia Sloan, who are driving back to Los Angeles from Chicago. Gretchen knows their dead father was the lead singer in a famous band. After hearing Gretchen sing, they convince her to be the vocalist in their rock band and to live with them in Los Angeles, where Gretchen meets and falls in love with the girl of her dreams. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, a predator lurks. The lobotomizer, a serial killer terrorizing Los Angeles, plots an attack that threatens to ruin Gretchen's happiness. Can she and her friends find and stop the killer before the unthinkable happens? Fans of Clive Barker, Stephen King, and Poppy Z. Bright will love this chilling novel. And next up, and finally, we have, by Brian Bowyer, we have Apocalypse. A glitch in biotechnology turns people into serial killers. When survivors take refuge in a compound on Lake Tahoe, they encounter something worse than the homicidal maniacs running amok in the outside world. And that was Apocalypse, and that is by Brian Bowyer. And that is our tour across America, our stop in sunny golden state of California. This is going to post on the Monday after Christmas, so until then, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and most importantly of all, take care and stay scared. Bye.